Hello, my lovely viewers, and welcome to Timberborn. This is a city building game set in a post-apocalyptic Earth where humans went extinct, and beavers replaced them as the dominant intelligent form of life. This game is pretty much your standard city building game like City Skylines, but with a focus on water engineering, and survival, rather than road construction, making money, and giant volcanoes filled with questionable substances. One of the premier features of Timberborn is its water mechanics, and the fact is that humans have evidently destroyed the Earth, leaving most of it uninhabitable to pretty much all life, and the only land that is still able to be lived around is that which is near water, and the water is delivered through these water sources. Now, this water usually flows down through rivers in almost every map in the game, delivering safe drinking water, fertile land to grow crops on, and much more that can be gotten into later. This map is called Meander, which you can see is because of the meandering river going around the entire map. It is a relatively simple and small area that is perfect for beginners and can offer some interesting opportunities for returning veterans. There are only two main water sources on the map, and these are both flowing into the same kind of river basin. There's also a bad water source, and bad water you can think of as if you took like the fluid dumps at an airport, took the water out of those, urinated it, mixed it all together, dropped a bit of uranium-238 in it, and then pumped it out of this thing. That's pretty much what bad water is. So you don't want your beavers drinking it, swimming around in it, having anything to do with it at all. It's just a problem. Now, this is not the start of me building a city from scratch, but rather a showcase of a city I've already gotten about 40 hours into building. All of that being said, let's get into it. Welcome to Halcyon, a beautiful and thriving utopia, currently in the transition from manual beaver labor to fully automated robots doing all of the work, so the beavers can just sit back, relax, and eat a maple pastry. This is the heart of Halcyon, a bustling hive filled with food storage, bakeries, and the pièce de résistance of my city, the Earth Recultivator. This gigantic structure launches tree seeds far and wide to spread life across the surface of this barren world once again. Every beaver in town stops to watch when it launches. I've also scattered a few parks and recreational spaces around town, like this one nestled inside my primary storage area, where beavers can come and connect with nature for as long as they please. And just above it is the premier spot in town, the Tower. And yes, that is with a capital T. Featuring over a dozen triple lodges, the tower is a demonstration of just how much you can fit inside a small horizontal area. However, the housing isn't the only feature of the tower, as there is an extensive list of recreational areas and monuments to the achievements of beaver kind on top of the tower. These recreational activities include terraces, contemplation spots, medical beds for the injured, literature that the beavers eat after reading, and two monuments to the achievements of beaver kind. Down below is the dance hall, where beavers will gather after a long day to do the exact same dance every single night. I guess they really aren't that creative of a bunch, considering you have to do all the work designing things for them. And just down another level is the Agora, which is a philosophy hall where beavers can gather to discuss important topics such as how much wood can a woodchuck really chuck? Leaves you wondering. And just a little bit further along are the twin mud baths. Moving on from the tower, we have the nearby primary water reservoir. Starting with the water sources, both this one and the one up on the aqueduct both have these bad water filters. You see, to add to the survival aspect of the game, droughts and bad tides will occasionally come along and try to ruin your colony. A drought is simple enough. Every source of water and bad water on the map will dry up and leave you without a source of either. Bad tide is a bit more complicated though. During a bad tide, every water source block on the map will start spewing out the contaminated bad water. These bad tides will easily poison your reservoirs and beavers if you don't take care of them. And now that that is explained, How does this bad water check actually work, you may be asking? Well, it all comes down to these automated sluice blocks. They can detect the level of downstream depth to fill to a certain height, or contamination and open or close above or below a certain percent. These are set to close above a 5% contamination level, so as soon as the contamination reaches that amount, they slam shut, and the influx of water will rise up until it spills over the dams and out the sides, where it can then be safely funneled out of the map. And just so you know, water cannot leave over a water source block. It has to go past a water source block. Turning back to the actual reservoir itself, rather than what feeds it, my primary log pumpers are located here, supplying fresh water to over 140 beavers in total. It may not surprise you that supplying that much water to that many beavers takes a lot of pumping your log. There's also a multi-tiered pool to accommodate for the constantly fluctuating levels of water in the reservoir. Finally, a row of showers ensures that my beavers stay squeaky clean at all times, though they can't actually clean out bad water contamination. I've also been trying to expand my water storage, so I've been blasting down through the terrain to increase the amount of water that my reservoir can hold. As you can see, my hardworking beavers have finally laid in the last patch of dynamite to finish off this layer before I move on to the next one. So please do sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This should give me at least another day, maybe two, of water storage. Now, let's take a look at the aqueduct in the room. This feat of engineering supplies water to my farming district during the wet seasons after it moves over a few mountains. Once the water gets over to the farm, an automated sluice will let it spill out into an irrigation canal that feeds all of my extensive farmland, which grows wheat, potatoes, carrots, and a few sunflowers to top things off. All of this raw food is then put into my storage area, where the haulers will then come and take it to be cooked into something much more nutritious for my beavers to eat. I have just taken us up on top of the aqueduct, and as you can see, not all the water ends up going through the sluice. If there is too much of it, it will spill over these little dam pieces here and go over to another sluice that feeds this vertical reservoir that then feeds into my aquatic farming district, which produces cattail and spatterdock for my beavers to eat. If the water makes it past both of those sluices, it will then spill out over the top of this part of the reservoir and feed back into the main river. This river is fed by a large sluice gate that will keep it at a minimum height during a drought, but is just open perpetually during wet season. And this river feeds a medium-sized tree farm, which also supplies all of my chestnuts and about half of my pine resin for my refined materials. Going even closer back to the town square, we have the primary bakery district, which supplies all the baked goods for my enterprising village. If we go up this little staircase here, we'll enter the primary industrial district of my city. This mess of buildings, storage, and power lines can produce every single refined material that Halcyon could ever need, from simple planks and paper to dynamite and fully automated robots to replace the manual beaver labor. Up on top of the mountain is the source of power generation, consisting of windmills, these physics-defying gravity batteries that will generate power as the boxes full of rocks drop down into the river, and a large aqueduct conducting all of the bad water from this source down and off the map. Now, when I said earlier that bad water is only a problem, I was lying to you. Bad water is actually useful for two main things: dynamite and extract. I have 3 pumps crammed into the aqueduct canal, sucking up bad water before it is taken to either an explosives factory or the centrifuge, which makes the extract. Extract can then be refined into a few other useful materials, primarily catalyst and even stronger dynamite. Coming down from the hill, we have the dam that holds in the secondary reservoir of water. This reservoir may even hold more water than the primary one, but it is further downstream and is thus secondary. This reservoir feeds water into my primary lumber district through yet another automated sluice. This tree farm primarily contains oak for wood, maple for tree syrup, and a few more pine trees to bolster my pine resin production. As you can see, I've also beautified the place a little by placing a fountain in the middle of the lake. That just about does it for everything I've accomplished in this world so far. If you'd like to see me continue this world, please let me know in the comments, and be sure to like and subscribe, as that is a huge help and a boost to my motivation to continue to make more videos. And as a final treat, I've prepared a before and after montage for you to enjoy. Now, good night.